The purpose of this talk is to challenge all of you to show off your own favorite teapot or coffee pot or hot water pot. It's not to give you a pile of information about the history of the teapots. Some of you took pictures of your own pots and sent them to me. Many of these are mine. It surprises me how many of those are my favorites. Mostly, I love Shelley flowers, but some of my other favorites surprise me too. So let's, my first one, this picture on the Wildman Child's tea set in Ivy has elongated the cups and the teapot. They're squatter and rounder than it shows here. But I'm real proud of having that little.
It shouldn't bother.
And then on the bottom, on the shelf below there is a Richmond Melody set, the tea and coffee set. This is an unknown J.F. Wildman shape. I've seen that in Chinese plant also and a couple of other patterns. If all of you will mute yourselves, I would appreciate that, or maybe Lyle will do that for me to get everybody shushed. This I got from a friend who says that this is Empire 506, a hot water jug. I'm not so sure about the shape name, but I don't have my references here either. The next is a Jacobean auto teapot. And this one, if you have just the picture, the two pieces on the left, the lid will sit too far down to stay in. And that's how you know that there's a piece missing on the thing. And the picture on the right shows the autoclave part. This is an intarsia, an unidentified teapot shape, and it's very different from anything else that I've seen that Wildman produced. And here, I'm not going backwards. That was a cabaret set in Daisy. And I have several in the Daisy shape to show you. There is a Daisy in a brighter blue. A Daisy with mauve ivory, and then a Daisy in blue ivory, an Alexandra pot in honeysuckle, another Alexandra pot, and the honeysuckle again, sorry about that. This is Alexandra in an electric blue clover. It should be an electric green, but it's electric blue. I like the twists on the handle. A New York shape with poppy. And I love this one just because it's turquoise. One of my newer pots is violets on New York. And that violets is suffragette colors, the purple and green. I didn't know that until recently when I heard a suffragette talk. One you've seen before because I show it off every chance I get is my Scott's Motto tulip teapot. It's no lost what a friend gets. And another tulip with Versailles on it. This is another tulip. Again, it's turquoise. I love it. And it's got a turquoise checked border on it and has a teapot stand with it. And then an Empress crocodile. And that's silver on the top, the handle and the spout with a crocodile print. And that handle changes slightly over time. Here's that same Empress pot with the deer stalker, and I took some close-ups of that so that you could see it. It says, this way, it's safe, just follow my footsteps. But the tall gilly is too much for the hunter on the right. And this is the way they started off the day, with the hunter up on the pony and everyone else walking. And you can see the gorgeous Scottish thistle on the top in silver. And here's the same teapot in pastels on Empress shape, which I love for the lovely pink flowers on that. A Queen Anne tea set with a teapot in Queen Anne blue iris and the coffee pot. And then there's a tea for, whoops, there was a tea for two there. This computer is touchy. There was a tea for two in Sunrise and Tall Trees. This one is a Queen Anne number 11564 with a stand. It's one of my favorite patterns. I just don't have this teapot. And another teapot with blue paneled fruit trees. Queen Anne. Regent. Regent 12314 in a lovely lavender and blue colorway. And then Regent again in green iris. Regent with, I think it's foxglove. And Regent hot water pot and an anemone. Regent shape in coffee pot with black and silver markings. And I've had a cup and saucer and and plates in this for years and never seen the teapot or the coffee pot. An Eve coffee pot in hollyhocks. And I love the pinks and the blues on this. Eve coffee pot with flowers all around the top. Vogue yellow chevron coffee. And that yellow is so gorgeous. And this one I've never seen in this colorway. I've seen it in pink, I think, and in green, but this coffee. See the Eve, notice the Eve finial has a hole in it, and the Vogue is solid. That's just a little thing I noticed when I was putting this together. But I love this yellow colorway. See how the Vogue is solid on the top? This is in red blocks. And this Vogue pattern 11848 and tulips for a coffee set. And I just love how striking that tulip is, and how very gorgeous it is with just a little bit of tulip line. And this one is my Go Blue, guys. I'm going to steal this when I find it. It's a Mode Shades and Lines 11560, and it's Go Blue because the blue and the gold in this are my university colors. I have one trio in that pattern. Couldn't have a talk on teapots without a Vogue butterfly. Those are so pretty. And truncated blue jays. See how the handle on the finial on the top is solid. And then the truncated yellow, and that is really yellow. And Harlequin, and there, this is Eve. See how the top has got the hole cut out in the finial. Now we have crocus in Vogue in pink and blue. And if that were green and yellow, I would be stealing it from whoever sent me pictures. An Eve apple blossom. With the silver touches on it, it's so pretty. This one is an unusual, it's Kent. It's pale yellow or cream, not white, but it's Kent shaped teapot. It may be the only Kent shape I've ever seen. Next are Ripon coffees, and we had a rust one for a second, and Sagrafito. And we have these two in Rose Pansy Forget-Me-Not Chintz on Ripon coffees, one in pink color background and one in green color background. If I remember correctly, that pink Rose Pansy Forget-Me-Not Chintz is what Ray Reynolds loved. We have the same chintz, but in an ivory background on the Ripon teapot with creamer and sugar. And then Blue Daisy in Ripon on the teapot. And Rock Garden on Ripon teapot. This one is a 6-cup Serenity pattern on Ripon. And then there's Hot Pink with Cactus Sheet. 12448. Tucked on the right-hand side is a Ripon Maroon Princess teapot, along with the dinnerware set. And if you notice, if you look real closely, you'll see that that Maroon Princess was Chantilly, the flowers. Here's Dainty Green, shaded to pink. And then Dainty done in Spano Luster. And you can see the bits of yellow, and it's much brighter and shinier. Here is a Dainty Blue in a 1-cup teapot. See how it's, the cup is smaller, the cup is larger than the teapot is. It's hard to tell sizes in pictures though. This is one of my favorites. See the tulip on the middle? That's blue trim, and that's a dainty shape with a tulip print on it. Whoops. The wildflower will show again. This is Dainty with rose and red daisy and coffee and tea and some extra pieces. Here it is then again, my favorite, Dainty Campanula. I love that purple. Now in this picture, you can see on the left, a pink Dainty with green handle, and that's T for 2 size with cups and saucers that match it, and then a blue handle on the pink. And then over to the far right is a pink Richmond 2-cup teapot. On the bottom shelf is the Wildflower Dainty small teapot again. And on the left is a lemonade set in Dainty Wildflower with pink trim. And here's a You can't show dainty without having a crested dainty pot. So this one is crested for Oban, and it's a 2-cup, and it's bigger than the teacup that's shown with it. It holds 10 ounces. I measured that. This one is one of my favorites. It's Wildflower. It's on Richmond. It's a little 2-cup, and I've shared that with friends. I sent that to Marie, and I have that back from Marie. There's a Stanley coffee with crocodile. And this one, the trim is in gold and not silver. And a Stanley coffee with yellow crocus, yellow and purple crocus on it. I would take an Eve coffee pot in this in a heartbeat if I ever got that lucky. An Oleander 2-cup coffee pot with pink trim with a Georgian litho. Followed by a 6-cup Oleander and Chantilly, and it shows the Chantilly flowers up on the lid. Seems like they're the same size, but they're way different. I took a picture of the displays in England last May, and there was a Gainsborough pot there on the shelf on the left that I liked very much. So thank you very much for having the display. Here is a different Serenity. It's 13783 and on Richmond shape. That went by too fast. This is the Richmond 2-cup in pastel pink. We're back to the pink on Richmond. That's a full-size teapot, that hot pink. And you can see the coffee pot in the left on the background and some of the other pieces to that tea set. To the pink again. Hiding behind that is a pink polka dot sterling cup and saucer. And then a globe shape with yellow handles. If you have a yellow handle on it, I like it. This has irises and other summer flowers, very similar to the cup and saucer in Chester. This one is unknown modification. We've been discussing it, of a globe teapot, and instead of the same, it's been pulled up at the top so that it has more of a lip around the rim on the upper side, and it has an interesting finial on the top as well, and it's little turquoise polka dots all the way around, so that you can see that this is a small cup, about 1 cup, and put it here next to 2 daisy cups and saucers that have gold and turquoise polka dots. You can catch the size from that. And the back stamp, this is late Foley Shelley, and the pattern number is 7946 on this cup. I have this from a very kind friend. Avon teapot with primrose on it. Looks a lot like the Carlisle top. And then I've been sent a picture of the Intarsia crown teapot, which I just love. And that color on the back almost looks like the velvet that's really there. And then another picture of the white and gold imperial teapot. Many thanks to Frank Spicer, Elizabeth Roberts, Bruce Sandy, Sheila Clark, and another friend who wishes to remain anonymous. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you.
Now I want to see all your teapots. It's only fair. Who's
If you have
first?
something to share, just kind of wave your hand.
Get down there.
John's up first. I saw his first.
Is that?
If you speak, John, you get to be on full view.
All right, sorry. Yes, this is the teapot that you saw from the exhibition at Telford last year. It's a Mayfair pattern. It's the pattern came on Mayfair, but it's both Gainsborough. It's a Gainsborough teapot that was used with Mayfair shape, and this is only a tea for two size, so it's quite small. But it's lovely though. It's got nice colours of the. I'll hold it up to the camera, and yes, we were quite lucky to find that some years ago
In New Zealand.
and we
It's lovely.
Lynn remembers we bought this in New Zealand from
Colgate.
Colgate, yes, who was a major collector in New Zealand, and we brought it back. It's managed to come back the many thousands of miles from there many years ago. Linda wants to show you her.
My favourite teapot is a Hilda Cowan teapot.
Oh.
Wow.
With children's legs disappearing out of the tent.
Wow.
So we have many teapots, so it was very difficult to decide which ones.
Yeah, I was toying with my Scottish motto ware once. I've got two, but if we run out of teapots to look at, I'll go and fetch them. But otherwise, there we go. Right,
That's our
that's us.
That's the coffee press. That's the-
Judith, I see you holding one up. Judith, unmute yourself.
Yes. I sorry, I didn't want to drop it. This is a Danny, as you can see, with a flower handle, and it's white with pink and green. It's a little hard to see, sorry. But I've had it for a number of years, and it was sold as something that Kurt Leiser had sold to the person that I bought it from. Whether that's true or false, I don't know. But the person said that she had bought it from Kurt at one of our meetings, one of our annual meetings. So I don't know if anybody knows anything about this, but that's the story. I think it's a lovely pot.
Thank you.
Judith?
Ruth Jennings? Ruth Jenkins?
Okay, right. So I'm a collector of Shelley, and I have two pots here. Well, I've got more teapots. I only brought teapots out. As you can see, these are both the pink and grey, which is kind of the rarest dripware colour. One is, I reckon, a two cup job, or maybe a wee bit bigger, and the other one's a 4 or 5. It's fairly hefty. I'd say it's at least a pint and a half. What's interesting, like it always is about dripware, is that no two pieces are ever the same. And I'm not going to hold them up to show you, but this has got a teapot like this. I'm just trying to fight the other one out, and it's not coming. As you can see, that's one way, and this is kind of completely different, yet they're the same pot. That's what I love about dripware. It's also different each time. So I've got some more of the teapots, but I guess 2 are enough.
Never enough. Bruce, your hand is up. Bruce?
Yep. I'm just lowering my hand.
for me, always my favourite teapot is the last one I've just bought normally.
Yes.
So probably the same for everyone. But I was very lucky the other day, and I managed to pick up this, which
Oh,
is
wow.
probably one of my favourite patterns ever. And I never managed to find one, and it turned up, and I bought it, and I'm very, very thrilled with it. It's a bluebird in sort of, I think it's a mode. This is a mode coffee set, but I did have one other question. As you noticed that the modes have a straight spout on them, as well as a blocked finial on the lid. The Eve actually, I think, has a curved spout, and I know there is a bit of crossover between the two, and I don't know whether it's to do with the production, the age of production, maybe 1 or 2 years difference. I didn't know whether Chris had a view on that one, being probably more in the know than most. That's me. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew?
Hello. This is a polka dot normal size cup and saucer in Regent, and it's part of a bachelor set. And I challenge anybody
To get smaller.
to find the smallest teapot,
And that's the hot water.
and that's the hot water jug, compared with the cup.
It's cute.
It's very, very small. It probably measures about 4 inches tall, I suspect. And there is a larger version of the milk jug.
I think that's coffee, Andrew.
Or is that coffee? Yes, possibly. Oh, you can't see. Oh, we're stuck. Can you see us?
No,
What?
it's in a-
We
Okay.
can see,
We're frozen again.
Yeah.
No matter.
thank
but
you.
it's a favourite because it's just so sweet.
I see Dan Wilson's hand up.
We've got a little Surrey scenery in Oleander.
Oh, gorgeous. Thank you, Dan. And I see Glennis's hand up.
I don't have a teapot, but I do have a lid that is in need of a teapot. So if anybody has a teapot missing a lid, then do get in touch with me because I'm quite happy to move it on to a good home. Thanks.
Okay, so what's interesting is that the design of the tree goes onto the lid, if you can see that. And then on the back are like 2 little butterflies, which I found very interesting. I do like Art Deco, and this is probably my favorite teapot. So there you go.
It's not Jerry, it's me.
Okay.
And those of you that know me will know I'm very proud of my Welsh heritage, so I couldn't leave this one behind. It's got the Welsh harpists on it. Can you see it?
Wow. Very nice.
Lovely.
Only small, just big enough for 1 cup, but I like it.
I see Owen waving at me. Hi, Owen.
Hi, 2 to show you. One is Shell,
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
which is in a sort of cream with a pink edge around the top bit. And my favourite at the moment, which is a very large Regent. It's from a breakfast set, which
But it's
I
yellow.
bought when I was doing the breakfast talk, and it has egg cups and bowls and everything with it, and it's absolutely gorgeous in orange and yellow. which fills a whole shelf in one of my cabinets. And I just think it's a gorgeous spring one with the daffodils on at the moment. That's needless to say, anyone who knows me knows that I would go for something yellow and orange probably, but there we are.
Thank you. Frank, I see you waving your hand again.
Yes, I took the group's statement literally on teapots. So I sent a picture of a teapot in, but my favorite is really a coffee pot. And this is a I don't know how well you can see it. This is a Queen Anne coffee pot with again the flowering, the trees actually continue onto the lid in a pattern that fits on the lid. It's in green. It's got a green handle, and it's got a lovely coloring of the spout.
It is lovely.
Is this delphinium?
Yeah. Trees on the side. It's the same pattern on the other side.
Looks like a bit of everything.
It has an unusual number, I think. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is not one that has any. This has it's a 12154. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Frank. I've never seen that pattern at all. Carmen, I see you waving. You're up next.
I have a very small, it's a one teapot, and it was like the one the lady showed earlier. It's a one pot, floral handled dainty, pattern 2166 in the pink hairball. And it's 4 inches high, so it's one of the very tiny ones. I do have the little miniature sugar basin and jug to go with it, but I don't have a cup. So I'm looking for a cup and saucer that'd match it. But it's not necessarily a favourite, but it's one that I really do like. So yes, I think you can see it. It is really tiny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Carolyn, I see you waving.
Hi, everyone. Lynn, thank you for that talk. It was fabulous. I'm kind of like you. I can't decide what one I like the best. So I have quite a collection of blue and white. So I decided to take this little tiny, it's a 1 cup, and the pattern books call it Lily Rose, but I think it's more often called Trailing Rose. Anyway, it's a little 1 cup, maybe 4 inches tall. And then I have a little coffee pot to match, except the coffee pot's missing its lid. So if anyone has a tiny little lid for a 1 cup coffee pot in that pattern, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Who's next? Helen, how are you this morning?
Very well, thank you. So I've got a little pots. I loved your talk, Lynn, so thank you. That was great. And so there's this yellow chevron in vogue. I don't know if you can see, so it's quite a big one. It's from a full tea set. And the hot water jug with the same, in the same set, yellow chevron. This one, I don't know if you know the little Roland Ward little fish coffee sets. They're very collectible with all the different fishies on them. And I managed to get a pot that goes with that set, which I really love, the coffee pot.
That's gorgeous.
And this is, sorry, I didn't get chance to dust it. It's on a top shelf.
I can't see.
But the other sort of Scottish motto where, and it says, "Contented we little and canty we mere." and Canty with me. So very cute. And this is one I picked up at a UK Shelley weekend, the little buy and bring and buy at the end. And I love that.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Lee, I see you. I really do.
All right, I'm going to show two. This one here is a dainty shaped pot. It's number 11770, 1925 to 1940 in the dainty shape. And it's one of the, the more colorful ones. I'm not seeing what I'm showing. Can you guys see it? Yes. Okay.
Pink and cream.
Yeah, there we go. And then this one, it's more dull, but I like it. It's a Gainsborough shape with that little extra poof up here on the top. And I bought this at a show where the lady was going back to live with her daughter to England, and she had purchased all this in England, and she said, I don't want to take it back. And I offered to take it to my house, and she said that was fine. So I bought it. And anyway, I've got quite a few, trios and stuff, so I could serve a little tea on this if I wanted to. So one not so bright and colorful, but very pretty and Gainsborough shape. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks very much, and thank you for the talk. I've only been collecting Shelley for a few weeks, but long enough to get into trouble with my husband over it. So never mind. I'm sure you've all been at that stage with your other halves. So I can show you my entire teapot collection because it's only two. And the first one I got last week at the fair in Peterborough, where I live in England, where several of us on this call were there. So that's a Regent, I think it's a Band's teapot. But the other one, which is my favorite until it gets replaced by something else, is an Eve. I don't know what that pattern is, but you actually answered my question, Lynn, about the finial, because I'd seen, like on eBay, quite a few people describe an Eve teapot with a solid finial, but now I think those were probably Vogue teapots. But this one I'm very pleased with. I picked it up at a local antique store for not very much money. So I was really pleased with myself about that. I've also found, so I'm realizing now that some come with teapot stands and some don't they? Because I was thinking they all did and maybe it was missing, but am I right in thinking some just don't come with teapot stands? Is that right?
That's right.
One not often seen, dainty orange. In the teapot.
Oh my.
We were fortunate to buy a set in the dainty orange. No dinner plates, but everything else.
Wow. Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? Robin?
I enjoyed your talk very much, Lynn.
Thank
I've
you.
got a little Wildman one. Where am I? Can you
hold it up a little bit higher?
Higher, which goes where with your introduction, you've got the other shape in this early series. They're rarely marked. Most of this set is marked on the plates, not on the, and it's called Delhi. But it's in comparison, the sugar bowl, hang on, how do I do that? Oops, is bigger than the teapot.
It's people drop them.
It has to
And
go
then-
higher, Robin, up toward the little
That's the
dot.
teapot. That's
There
the
you go.
sugar bowl. That's the
Goodness.
And then there's an open sugar bowl that's still large in comparison to the teapot.
Goodness.
But the cup and sauce is probably in a fair size to the cup to the teapot. But only the plate. I've got other bits that are marked, but they're called Delhi. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, I see. Jerry, hello.
Well, it's really Sheila's, but she said I could show this one. Right, I thought it was all going to be teapots, but as we've brought in coffee pots as well, this is an Intarsia coffee pot. I'm not sure if this is Turkish in design, but it has swans going around, if you can see up there.
Yes.
Wow.
And the lid is very loose, and I almost dropped it, so I'm going to be in trouble. Anyway, very nice. Thank you.
Is it luster as well?
No, it's just straightforward Intarsia, right.
Thank you. Am I missing anyone else?
Lynn, I've got another little one in a pattern that hasn't been shown tonight, which is the it's in the little boat series. It's really quite pretty in the green and orange.
Wow.
It's quite small.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
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 Hello, Lynn. It's Brian from the
Brian
UK.
is waving. I see Brian.
I've got a dainty here in a Japan pattern.
Oh my.
See that? As you can probably see from my virtual background, the bulk of my collection is dainty white. So anything that's got an ounce of colour in it really stands out. And this does it in spades. It's a dark orange on a black background at the top and white at the bottom. And it really looks absolutely stunning against the rest of the pale white collection.
That is quite stunning.
Yeah.
Could I beg of you to send me a picture of it?
Yeah, surely. It's got a Warman back stamp and the pattern number is 6873.
Wonderful, thank you. Bruce, did we get back to you?
You can do, by all means. I have another one. This is sort of a crossover, probably. So this is a Vogue Harmony T for 2. I'll turn it the other way. There you go. Probably. And it's sort of purple and green. I think it's pattern 12084. I think a number, if I remember rightly.
I'm going to join Lynn in larceny.
I thought. It's because I saw you, Ruth. I thought I'd bring it. So there you go.
It's gorgeous.
Yes, but it's the only dripware one I have. So.
Oh, you don't really want it then?
No. Yeah, part of a T for 2.
Lovely. I knew we'd get you to show them off if we did teapots. I don't see anybody else. No. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves half as much as I have. So thank you very much for coming and for showing off your favorites. It's wonderful fun. Anybody we've missed?
I got a couple more if
I love it.
Bubbles.
Oh, wow.